Prabhupada, Sri Bijoykrishna Goswami, short biography. Three Lords, that is Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Prabhu, are worshipped in the Vaishnava society of Bengal. Prabhupada Sri Bijoykrishna Goswami appeared in the lineage of Pujya Advaitacharya Prabhu. Prabhupada was the 10th son of Advaita Prabhu. His ancestral home was in Shantipur of Nadia district. He was born on the day of Jhulan Purnima, 2nd August Wednesday, 1841 AD, in his maternal house at Dahakul village near Shikarpur in the said district. Lord Krishna was born in a prison. Buddha was born under a tree. Jesus Christ was born in a stable. Bijoykrishna was born in a strange environment. The house was raided by the police as all his maternal possessions were confiscated. So his mother took refuge under a pituli tree in nearby Kochu bush where Bijoykrishna was born. His father was known as Prabhupada Ananda Kishore Goswami alias Ananda Chandra Goswami. He was a highly revered devotee, a supreme scholar of the Srimad Bhagavatam. While reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, his robes would be wet with tears, and from time to time his body would bleed from the pores. The sonless Ananda Kishore went to Puri Dham, cutting the bus all the way to see Sri Jagannath Deva. After Ananda Kishore's return from Puri, Bijoykrishna's mother, Sri Yukta Swarnamai Devi, became pregnant and Bijoykrishna was born. Once while reciting Bhagavata at a disciple's home in Rajshahi district, Ananda Kishore entered in ecstasy and passed away in that state. Sri Yukta Swarnamai Devi used to witness various miracles during her pregnancy. Her simplicity, magnanimity, and her love and compassion for all the poor and needy, irrespective of caste, creed, and character, are remarkable. She was above all castes, feeding her own son Bijoykrishna and the son of her attendant, at the same time, side by side, without any discrimination. Prabhupada Bijoykrishna was born in the lineage of Advaita Prabhu and in the arms of parents like Ananda Kishore and Swarnamai. We see him in his childhood pitied by the suffering of all living beings. When he was only 6 or 7 years old, he ran to the place to protest the unspeakable cruelty of a local landlord on a subject and shouted, "You are a robber! Can't you see this man is dying in pain? Let him go." Then he fainted. In this incident, the Zamindar repented and released the subject. In another incident, Goswami Prabhu cried out with tears in his eyes when a bird was tormented in agony of death. "Who has done such a cruel thing?" Saying this, he lifted the injured bird to his chest and started crying bitterly. Pantha Ghashi, the person responsible for this cruel act, was so impressed by the incident that he gave up hunting forever. Gautama Buddha also took to his chest a bird wounded by one of his relatives in an aching heart. He was ordained at the age of 9 and was initiated by his mother. As a child, he was first admitted to Bhagavan Sarkar's local Pathshala, that is grammar school, and later went to Govinda Chandra Bhattacharya Mahashaya's school. There, he learned Sanskrit grammar in just 1 year. Truthfulness and firmness of character were prominent in him. From childhood, his play with his idol Shyam Sundarji is notable. In 1859 AD, he went to Kolkata with his friend and fellow villager Aghornath Gupta, who later known as Sadhu Agarnath. He joined the Sanskrit college in Kolkata and started practicing Vedanta. In the same year, at the age of 18, he married Srimati Yogumaya Thakurani, the eldest daughter of Ramchandra Bhaduri of Dahakul village. Yogumaya Devi was born on 16th Bhadra Wednesday, 1260 Bengali year, at Shravan Krishna Twadasi at Sikarpur, Nadia district. Her father was Sri Ramchandra Bhaduri and mother was Muktokeshi Devi. Yogumaya Devi was 6 years old at the time of marriage. She was very quiet and reserved. She completely surrendered at the feet of her husband and Guru Goswami Prabhu and passed away at Sri Sri Vrindavan Dham on Maghi Shukla Trayodasi Tithi, Saturday 21st February 1891 AD. A couple of comments of Goswami Prabhu about her are quoted here. What I have attained through much suffering and severe austerities, she has attained only by serving me. Elsewhere, there shall be no difference between she and me. After Yogumaya Devi's passing away, Goswami Prabhu's disciples built a temple at Gendariya Ashram in Dhaka suburb. There Goswami Prabhu installed a portrait of Sri Sri Nama Brahma Deva along with Sri Sri Yogumaya Devi and performed arati with conch, incense and lamps and appointed one of his disciples, Fani Bhushan Ghosh, for daily service. Goswami Prabhu continued to wear the Upavita and Vaishnavite symbols till 1266 Bengali year. Making disciples was his hereditary vocation. Once in a village of Bogura district in a disciple's home, an old woman worshipped his feet and began to pray very fervently, Lord, I am drowning in the ocean of desire. I am unable to escape from it. Please rescue me. After hearing such a grudge, the question arose in the Lord's mind, do I have such power? I am not sure how I will save myself. How can I save others? After some time, he heard an unknown voice, think of the hereafter. He was particularly disturbed by these incidents as he studied the monism of Vedanta. He began to distrust orthodox Hindu ritualists. In this situation, he attended the prayer meeting of Maharshi Devendranath Tagore in Brahma Samaj in Bagura one day and heard the theme of worship, Sinner's Plight, God's Mercy. Then in the year 1861, he and Sadhu Agarnath were simultaneously initiated into Brahma Dharma, that is religion, by Maharshi Devendranath Tagore. The villagers started abusing him and forced him to leave Shantipur. In 1863, Goswami Prabhu came to Kolkata and started living with his consort. He studied for 3 years at Calcutta Medical College, Bengali department, to earn a living. But before the end of his studies, there was a fierce dispute between the students and the college authorities. All the students boycotted the college under the leadership of Goswami Prabhu. With the intervention of Pandit Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar Mahasaya, the disturbance was settled and the students returned to the college. But Goswami Prabhu did not resume his studies and devoted himself to the propagation of Brahmo religion. In September 1863, he was appointed as a preacher of the Konnagar Brahmo Samaj. On 3rd February 1864, he preached Brahmanism in Bagh Achra village of Jessore district. On 22nd May 1864, he moved to Kolkata and took up the work of preacher of the Kolkata Brahmo Samaj. In a magazine called Dharma Tattva, Goswami Prabhu wrote about his duties and responsibilities as a preacher. I am a humble preacher of Brahmo Dharma. I did not take the vows for fame or glory. What a wonderful power lies deep within my soul. This power is not mine. It is not my concern. I have no dominion over it. It has almost nothing to do with my desire. This power guides me like a blind man, and I cannot tell where it will lead me in the future, etc. Due to his difference with Maharshi Devendranath Tagore over the wearing of Brahmin symbols, he left the Kolkata Brahmo Samaj and founded the Bharatvarshiya, that is Indian Brahmo Samaj, in 1866. Dedicating himself to the service of the Brahmo Samaj, he had to face many hardships. From time to time, he and his family had to starve, but he had no complaints. By August 1867, he started reciting Sri Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita at the request of Sri Haripada Pramanik Mahashaya of Shantipur. During this time, he met Bhagavan Das Babaji Maharaj in Kalna, and for the first time, he saw the worship of Nama Brahma. When Goswami Prabhu asked Siddha Chaitanya Das Babaji in Navadvip, "What is bhakti?" Babaji very humbly replied that bhakti was the ancestral property of Goswami Prabhu, and that he could see Goswami Prabhu, the repository of bhakti, in his mind's eye, tilak on the forehead, garland of tulsi in the throat. Finally, he told Goswami Prabhu, "Just as water does not flow upwards, so does devotion in the heart of an arrogant person." Goswami Prabhu introduced Kirtan in Brahmo Samaj. He used to charge 8 annas while practicing medicine to serve the poor. It is said that Dr. Durgacharan Bandyopadhyay Mahashaya, that is heavenly father of the famous Surendranath Bandyopadhyay, appeared in his dreams and helped him in his medical career. By 1865, he abandoned the medical profession and began to preach Brahmanism from village to village, city to city, relying only on God to support his family. Around 1875 AD, Babu Keshav Chandra Sen established Bharat Ashram on the advice of Goswami Prabhu to create and teach the ideal Brahmo family. During his stay at this place, one night Advaita Prabhu, along with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his companion, visited him, and Advaita Prabhu instructed him to take shelter of Mahaprabhu. When Goswami Prabhu bathed according to Mahaprabhu's instruction, Mahaprabhu initiated him. A few days after this incident, he went to Varanasi, where he met Trailanga Swami. One day, while passing by the Dasaswamedh Ghat, Trailanga Swami asked him to take a Ganges bath and initiated him, telling him that he had given this mantra to purify his body as ordered by the Supreme Lord. His real Guru would come later. Returning to Kolkata, he went to Bagh Achra, where one day in deep meditation he heard a voice, "Don't be bound by barriers. There is no real religion in barriers." When some Brahmos urged him to come to Kolkata and stay in the company of Keshav Babu, he hears that unfamiliar voice again. If you want religious life, do not enter into barriers. A few days later, a protest meeting was held in Kolkata Town Hall against the marriage of Keshav Babu's daughter. After that, he went to Dhaka and worked as a preacher of the East Bengal Brahmo Samaj for 2.5 years. While in Kolkata, he met a Himalayan saint on Mechua Bajar street. Goswami Prabhu said to the saint, he has not yet attained that spiritual state which he is preaching about. The saint asked if he had attained his Guru. In the reply, he informed that Brahmo Samaj does not believe in Guru traditions. Hearing this, the saint said in Hindi language, "Ehi vaste sab bigad gaya," means this is the reason for which everything is spoiled. When Goswami Prabhu approached him as a candidate for initiation, he said, I am not your Guru. Your Guru is elsewhere. Don't worry, you will get him in time. But he became very anxious for Guru. He entered Kartavaja sect and took initiation there, but was not satisfied with it. He entered one after another the Aghorpanthis, the Kapalikas, the Bauls, the Ramites, the Darvish, the Buddhists, all sects, but his spiritual thirst was nowhere quenched. He had the grace of 6 saints in his spiritual life before attaining sadhana, that is spiritual practice, from his Guru, Brahmananda Paramhansaji of Manas Sarovar. These sannyasis, that is saints, prepared the ground for his spiritual life so that Brahmananda Paramhansaji could plant the seed of Brahma, that is, the Supreme One, in him in later times. Goswami Prabhu went to Gaya to preach Brahmo Dharma, and there he used to visit Akash Ganga hills often to meet Raghubar Das Babaji. Goswami Prabhu saw that this place was just as he had seen it in his dream some time ago when he was in Bagh Achra. One day in the month of July 1883, he heard about a monk from the mouth of some shepherd boys, climbed to the top of Akash Ganga hill and saw a monk with a luminous body there. This monk disappeared after initiating him. This monk was Brahmananda Paramhansadeva of the Manas Sarovar. A few days after his initiation, he again appeared before Goswami Prabhu at Ramshila in Gaya and said, do not despair, do penance, in time you will gain everything in spirituality. He fell into samadhi, that is deep ecstasy, and remained in that state for 11 days. At that time, Raghubar Das Babaji used to feed Goswami Prabhu a little milk to protect his body. He then went to Varanasi as ordered by his Guru and took sannyasa from Swami Hariharananda Saraswati and was named as Achyutananda Saraswati. As per Guru's orders, he had to return to Kolkata and live with his family. As an acharya, that is preacher of the Brahmo Samaj, he started giving sermons and many devotees were attracted to him. During this time, as a preacher in the Brahmo Samaj, Goswami Prabhu began to initiate people into his yoga practice as instructed by his Gurudeva. In 24th June 1886, he sent a letter of resignation to the authority of Brahmo community and wrote, I think that the truth which is universal in all religions is Brahmo religion, and this truth is to be found in all human congregations. God is one, his religion is also one. Different sects have arisen due to ignorance. There is no sect in true religion. I am and will continue to preach the true non-sectarian Brahmo Dharma, that is religion. I am a servant of all human societies but belong to no sect or community. In his resignation letter to Brahmo friends on 10th July 1886, he wrote, God has no material form, that's why I call him formless. but he has formless Satchidananda form, which can be seen by the eye of knowledge. After resigning from the general Brahmo Samaj, he was invited to the East Bengal Brahmo Samaj and accepted the post of preacher. During his stay in Dhaka Pracharak Nivas, that is preacher's house, he used to give sermons as a preacher of East Bengal Brahmo Samaj. Some of these sermons and speeches were compiled and published by his disciples and with his consent in a book called Speech and Sermon. In 1888, he moved to an ashrama at Gendaria in the suburbs of Dhaka and lived there with his family and disciples. A cottage was built for his worship. On the wall inside the cottage, he wrote following instructions with chalk. Days will not remain the same. Do not praise of yourself. Don't speak ill of others. Be kind to all. Non-violence is the true religion. Believe in the scriptures and saints. Abandon those like poison which does not agree with the scriptures and the behavior of saints. There is no greater enemy than ego. Many disciples left their ancestral homes and built houses on the land adjacent to the ashram in the hope of getting his companionship. Whether during his stay in the ashram or elsewhere, Goswami Prabhu would never discriminate between his disciples. In January 1896, he celebrated the birth of Lord Advaita Prabhu at Gendaria. He then moved to Kolkata and started staying at 45 Harrison's Road. From there, he travelled to Puridham in 1898. From time to time, he came in contact with great saints of Dhaka and Kolkata like Sri Loknath Brahmachari, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa Deva, and Maharshi Devendranath Tagore. Goswami Prabhu saw Paramahansa Deva first time in the community hall of Brahmo Samaj. Both are attracted to both. When Goswami Prabhu went to Dakshineshwar after taking sannyasa, Paramahansa Deva was surprised to see him in the guise of a sannyasi and said, "Have you taken a house?" By saying this, he explained the meaning of the words. He also said, "Look, the fountain of truth inside Bijoy was suppressed for so long. This time it has opened." At another time, Paramahansa Deva says, "Nowadays, all that Vijay is seeing, that is divine form, is right." Paramahansa Deva and Loknath Brahmachari were very fond of Goswami Prabhu. Goswami Prabhu once said, "I say in the same breath that Ishvara, that is the Supreme God, is Swarupam, that is have a form, and Ishvara is Arupam, that is without a form. He is Abang Manasa Gochara, that is beyond the reach of mind and words. He is Satchidananda Swarupam. He has hands, feet, mouth, but none of them are natural. Truly, he can be seen, touched, tasted. I could not be satisfied just seeing him. I touched his hands and feet and saw that indeed he had 2 hands and 2 feet. His beauty is indescribable. I have spoken to him. What more can I say?" Saying this, he entered in deep ecstasy. He left for Puri on 7th March 1898 by steamer and stayed there till his demise at 9:20 p.m. on Sunday, Krishna Dwadashi Tithi, 4th June 1899. Some ill wishers poisoned him out of jealousy. Sometime before this, on 2nd April 1899, the great Dan Leela he performed and the way he donated to the poor, saints and Brahmins especially attracted the local residents, but unfortunately, jealousy and hatred arose in the hearts of some people and they poisoned him with Mahaprasadam. He sought forgiveness from Lord Jagannatha for the miscreants and refused to reveal their identity forbidding the disciples and devotees to search for the miscreants. This incident reminds us for the last words of Jesus Christ: Lord, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Goswami Prabhu was popularly known as Jetiya Baba in Puri for his long streak of hair. Devotees purchased a plot of land on the north bank of Narendra Sarovar, that is Chandan Talao. Talao means pond, and buried his mortal body there according to the scriptural rules. The ashram built at that place is known as Jetiya Baba's Samadhi Ashram. He was the epitome of truth and humility. His life was the epitome of the following verse: Trinadapi sunichena taroriba sahisnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. That is, be humble as grass and tolerant as a tree. Show respect to others. At the same time, do not expect respect from others, and always worship Sri Hari. He bowed down to all irrespective of caste and creed. His love for all animals, humans, and even for trees cannot be left out. Among all his characteristic features, which are visible to all, few are mentioned below. First, he performed a great charity for saints, poor, and Brahmins at Puri on 2nd April 1899 by order of Lord Jagannath Deva. With only 100 rupees in hand, he started this work completely depending on the God's orders. He begged in the name of Lord Jagannath, and money started pouring in. In addition to about 2,500 to 3,000 saints, numerous Brahmins, Vaishnavas, and Poors are distributed silk and cotton clothes and water pots. It is said that at least rupees 30,000 is spent on the occasion at that time. Second, he had Akash Vritti, that is, complete dependence on God for sustenance of himself and his family. He never spoke of his needs to anyone, never saved anything for the next day. Third, during the last 6 or 7 years of his life, he never slept for a moment, day or night. He was always absorbed in samadhi, that is, deep ecstasy. Fourth, he worshipped Nama Brahma and preached it irrespective of caste and creed. There is no communalism or external ceremony in the yoga practice or sadhana offered by him. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti.